So now, when I talk about, I'll share my whiteboard again. So before we start with our reserves and official settlement account, if inflow greater than outflow, okay? What is this called? Surplus, correct? If outflow greater than inflow, it is called deficit, okay? Are you following?
Yes, ma'am.
So when we talk about it this way, how do we actually then deal with it? That is what we are going to talk about in this minute. Just a moment. Business. So what we do here is we have so now what according to us do we know as reserves? Reserves kya hote hain? So whenever there is reserves, what is it? So whenever there is surplus of current account and capital account, okay? I will say current account surplus and capital account surplus is equal to net surplus, correct? Net surplus, then it gets added to the reserves. Reserves are nothing but the country's savings. Who maintains them? Who maintains the reserves of the country? Class, any idea? Who maintains the reserves of the country? Class, are you there? Who maintains the reserves of the country? Can I have some response from you? Who maintains the reserves of the country? So we are going to reserves are RBI's reserves in the form of, first of all, forex. पहले हम कैश में रखते हैं, करेक्ट? लिक्विड फॉर्म कैश या सेविंग्स डिपॉजिट, सो फॉरेक्स रिजर्व. देन वी टॉक अबाउट गोल्ड रिजर्व, तो थोड़ा बहुत लिक्विड इन्वेस्टमेंट में रखते हैं. देन वी हैव इट विद IMF, थोड़ा सा डिपॉजिट रखते हैं. देन SDR. Do you know what is SDR? Special drawing, right? This is an asset created by IMF. समझ में आ रहा है क्लास? So IMF यहाँ पे क्या करती है when it creates an asset for you? Class?
Yes, ma'am.
IMF क्या करती है? What does IMF do? IMF is creating some bit of extra drawing. Like, see, it creates, if I have deposited 100 rupees, I can withdraw up to 125 when there is an acute crisis in my country. So these are the forms of reserves. If there is a surplus in both current and capital account, I'm going to maintain, right? So now it is International Monetary Fund, you're right. So now what I will do here is, so when there is a reserve, this thing net current account surplus plus capital account surplus, if there is a net surplus. Same way, if I have current account में या capital account में, दोनों में से एक में surplus है, okay? Current और capital account surplus and I will say net of current, दोनों में से एक में डेफिसिट है, ओके, स्लैश कैपिटल अकाउंट डेफिसिट इज इक्वल टू नेट सरप्लस, ठीक है। तो भी वी विल एड ऑन करंट अकाउंट का जो भी डेफिसिट है कैपिटल अकाउंट में सरप्लस है तो उसमें से सेटल करेंगे, और भी थोड़ा सा सरप्लस बचा तो वी एडेड टू योर रिजर्व्स। सो पहले फॉरेक्स में डालते हैं विच इज द मोस्ट लिक्विड, देन वी हैव इट इन गोल्ड रिजर्व, देन IMF, देन SDR। समझ में आ रहा है क्लास?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts here? Any doubts? Class? Assume
ma'am.
doubts. I continue. Okay. So again, yeah, thanks. So what we do here is, अगर उनमें से एक में भी डेफिसिट आया, ओके, अगर इनमें से एक में भी डेफिसिट आया तो मैं क्या करूंगी, देयर इज अनदर पार्ट टू दिस, आई विल से ऑफिशियल सेटलमेंट है ना, मतलब ऑफिशियली आई विल सेटल फ्रॉम वेयर, पहले फॉरेक्स में से दूंगी, बस नहीं है तो आई विल टेक आउट ऑफ माय गोल्ड रिजर्व। अगर गोल्ड भी नहीं है देन आई विल टेक इट आउट एज IMF एंड SDR। समझ में आ रहा है? बहुत अक्यूट क्राइसिस में तो देन आई विल टेक इट आउट ऑफ माय SDR। समझ में आया? देन व्हाट आई डू हियर इज आई एम गोइंग टू से, इसको बोलते हैं मॉनेटरी गोल्ड। मॉनेटरी, you know they hold it in the form of bullions, and then इस monetization of gold जो है वो contra entry रहता है balance of payment में। what is contra entry? what is contra entry class? what is contra entry? Any doubts? Any idea what it is? Any idea? What is a contra entry? क्लास आपने अकाउंटिंग में contra entry किया है? Contra entry is recorded when debit and credit affect the same parent account. Exactly. Right. In your cash book, you must have done contra entry. बराबर, right? So, same way, monetization of gold जो है ना, आपको current account में and reserves account में आता है. Because balance of payment, when we were talking about, we said that balance of payment is going to record all your transactions of this economy with the rest of the world. बराबर, monetary transactions. But then when I said just monetization of gold or demonetization of gold, that only is going to be a contra entry. दोनों ही balance of payment account में आएंगे, right? When I say monetization of gold, it means you're going to pay the jewelers some money, right? So current account में it is going to be an inflow, and the current account में it is going to be an outflow, and then capital account में it is going to, your reserves and official settlement account में it is going to be an inflow. समझ में आ रहा है? यहाँ पे क्या होता है, monetization बोला तो I'm going to buy jewelry from gold from jewelers. They are all asked to sell and they will have to sell, and then they are going to take cash against it. So current account में inflow, and then there is outflow of funds from your reserves and official settlement account. समझ में आ रहा है आपको? Class,
Yes, ma'am.
any doubts? Any doubts? On the other hand, if it is demonetization of gold, what will happen? Current account may there is an outflow where they are going to purchase monetary gold, and then there is going to be an inflow in your reserves and official settlement. How? Are you all following? Are you all following?
Yes, ma'am.
So that is how this account works. Now talking about your any doubt? Equilibrium in BOP. What is equilibrium in BOP? Where inflow equal to outflow. Okay? Where inflow equal to outflow, we are going to talk about what is equilibrium, where my inflow and outflows are exactly equal. So when I talk about this equilibrium, it means inflow not equal to outflow, either a surplus or a deficit. समझ में आ रहा है? In countries like India, we never have surplus balance of payment. Are you following? Class,
Yes, ma'am.
we don't have a surplus in balance of payment, and hence we usually have deficit in balance of payment, disequilibrium in balance of payment. So we will see the causes of disequilibrium in the balance of payment and the measures to correct disequilibrium in balance of payment and types of disequilibrium in balance of payment. Okay? Types of disequilibrium in BOP, causes of this equilibrium in BOP, and lastly measures to correct this equilibrium in BOP. But before that, let us talk about a balance of payment should balance. This statement has to balance. Yesterday, remember I told you, okay, balance of payment is again a double entry bookkeeping system, correct? So, for every credit, for every inflow, there is a corresponding outflow that is also happening, which is simultaneously recorded. And therefore, whenever we talk about balance of payment, it is a double entry bookkeeping system. So we'll just note down some points before we pass on to the actual concept of disequilibrium. Okay. Double entry bookkeeping system, and hence it has to balance. Okay. Then yesterday we spoke about balance of trade. Do you remember that? Where your receivables or import and export of goods, उसके जो भी balance आते हैं उसको बोलते हैं balance of trade. समझ में आ रहा है? It could be a surplus, it could be a deficit. Any doubts?
No.
Then we will talk about overall balance. Okay, what is this overall balance now? We are going to talk about overall balance, which means we're going to talk about the final balance. समझ में आ रहा है? Final balance that you arrive at. Current account balance, capital account balance, and finally these two put together is your overall balance. तो जो भी आप फाइनली कर रहे हो, बाहर वाले को भर रहे हो या आप बाहर वाले का उठा के आपके रिजर्व्स में ऐड कर रहे हो, वो सब डिपेंड्स अपॉन द बैलेंस यू गेट, सरप्लस या डेफिसिट. आर यू फॉलोइंग? समझ में आ रहा है?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts? So this is how it works. Then we talk about autonomous and accommodating capital flow, right? Autonomous and accommodating capital flow, right? So when I talk about autonomous and accommodating capital flow, we are going to talk about autonomous bola to whatever transactions are happening, you're going to be recording them, correct? So when you record them and then finally you find that there is some shortfall, बराबर? तो आप क्या करते हो घर पे? If there is a shortfall, I'm able to official settlement account से कर रही हूँ, फिर भी नहीं हो रहा है, थोड़ा बहुत shortfall है, so what do? I borrow money, बराबर, from someone else. तो वो क्या होता है, वापस इनफ्लो में ऐड होता है. समझ में आ रहा है? So that transaction, autonomous मतलब जैसे जैसे transactions हुए करते हैं, मैं रिकॉर्ड करती हूँ. That is an autonomous transaction और autonomous capital flow. समझ में आ रहा है क्लास? तो अभी जो मुझे शॉर्टफॉल आ रहा है, मैंने आउटफ्लो से आई डिसाइडेड कि व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू डू नाउ विथ माय दिस थिंग. There is a shortfall and I have to actually go in for some, you know what I'm going to do. जब shortfall आता है, I need to borrow. ये जो मेरे पास है वो काफी नहीं है. So when I borrow, there is an inflow. That is an accommodating transaction. समझ में आ रहा है? Yes. And then accommodating transaction, उसके अलावा supposing there is a surplus, inflow बहुत आया है, मेरे country, my country has invited lot of FDI, FPI, सब कुछ है, तो ज्यादा आया है, तो क्या करूंगी, उसको दूसरे देश में भेजूंगी by way of investment. समझ में आ रहा है? That is also दोनों तरफ करते हो ना. जब घर पे भी आता है तो आप क्या करते हो, एक्स्ट्रा आता है तो आप इन्वेस्ट करते हो, करेक्ट? सो मनी इज गोइंग आउट. और जब कम पड़ता है, मनी आप बाहर से मंगा रहे हो, बराबर? एनी डाउट सो फार? So to balance the shortfall or excess, whatever transaction you put through, it creates an inflow or outflow, which is called as accommodating transaction or accommodating capital flow. Any doubts so far? Any doubts? No. Now let's discuss the types of this equilibrium. Okay? Types of this equilibrium. We will first talk about short run and long run disequilibrium. Okay? Short run and long run disequilibrium. So when I say short run and this long run disequilibrium, this is there for a short period of time. Short run equilibrium, say up to 5 years maximum, right? It's a temporary disequilibrium where supposing I have always borrowed, right? I need to settle my borrowings. Like I have a project going on, I need to borrow for 5 years. That is a short run disequilibrium. When I say a long run disequilibrium, it is going to be a long run disequilibrium wherein it is going to last for a longer period. If the country is going through a problem, terrible problem, like see for example Kenya, Nigeria, such African countries, they are going to be borrowing for a very, very long term. समझ में आ रहा है? Are you following? उनका basic production and the economy is going through a lot of trouble. That is going to be a long run disequilibrium. Any doubts? Yes, economy, right. Cyclical disequilibrium is a part of your business cycle fluctuations. You remember your business fluctuations? Do you remember your business fluctuations? Class? What was it? Do you recall? Recovery, we started with recovery, right? Expansion. Boom. Peak. Recession. Right? 6. Depression. 7. Trough. Trough is also called as nadir. Okay? So these were the phases. इनमें से कोई भी एक phase में you either import funds or you export funds, or you mean you have an excess inflow or excess outflow. This is a part of your cycle that is going on in the economy. And no economy, I mean, this cycle is inevitable. No economy can escape this. समझ में आ रहा है? समझ में आ रहा है? Class?
Yes.
So therefore, all these are going to require capital from abroad or funds from abroad. Therefore, we are going to talk about this as cyclical disequilibrium. Now, structural disequilibrium is another type of disequilibrium. Today we'll finish this topic. Structural disequilibrium, wherein it talks about structure of the economy. From industry, you change over to, say, agri, right? Agriculture base. Then you will have to import equipments, then you will have to modernize your agriculture or productivity increase. Kafi sare cheezein hai, right? So therefore, what do you do here? You are going to change the structure of the economy. Or from agriculture, agro-based economy, you are changing to industry-based economy. Samajh mein aa raha hai? So we again are changing the structure where we'll have to modernize one of the things, for which you will have to rely on equipments or funds from abroad. Any doubts so far? Any doubts? Class?
Yeah. No, ma'am.
And then finally we talk about fundamental disequilibrium. What is a fundamental disequilibrium? According to IMF, actually, it's a persistent long-run disequilibrium in any economy, right? These are all basically because of the deep-rooted. Like for example, a nation has no productivity. Let's take a case. A nation has no productivity. It relies more on service sector. So when you rely more on service sector, what will happen? There is a deep-rooted problem. अपना खुद का production नहीं है, सब चीजें आप import कर रहे हो. कभी एक आध बार जब आपने ये एक सेक्टर पे डिपेंड किया है, वो सेक्टर में कुछ प्रॉब्लम आया. Like for example, we had this COVID, where tourism in countries got literally shut. You remember this scenario? What happened? There were no flights or there were no tourism sector operating because there was social distancing and such norms practiced. So तभी क्या होगा? Do you think that economy will be able to sustain? What will happen to that economy then? Class?
Yes, ma'am.
So it will be a deep-rooted problem because that economy had never been on its own. It had never been producing, and therefore, since it has not been producing, it never had any kind of business. It was dependent only on this service sector, which is now not being able to satisfy the demands. समझ में आ रहा है? They are not even having the money to import these goods that they were once upon. So therefore, it is a fundamental deep-rooted problem in the economy, and already there has been a problem. Supposing it is trying to come over, trying to tackle all these problems, then still the country is facing a disequilibrium. It is called as fundamental disequilibrium. समझ में आ रहा है?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's see the causes of disequilibrium in BOP. Okay. First of all, when we started with cyclical, it is because of the trade cycle that any business or any economy has to go through. Sometimes it is very, very fast, and sometimes it is slow. Correct? Give me a sec. So see, trade cycle is at times down, at times up. So accordingly, funds or funds movement between countries also are there. Therefore, we say trade cycle is a cost. Then we talk about changes in export demand. Okay, changes in export demand. Again, when you talk about the changes, see what I needed today, I may not need tomorrow. Maybe because of the say changes in tastes and preferences, maybe because of my affordability or whatever could be. So therefore, the country's industrialization, which has happened in a large scale, has now not working, is now not working. I have to change the entire thing. समझ में आ रहा है? Whatever I had produced, I don't need to produce now, and it is lying waste. So I need to change the entire production process. समझ में आ रहा है आपको? Yeah, entire goods.
Yes, ma'am.
So again, that is causing me this equilibrium. Or if there is, on the other hand, if more people are demanding my goods, that causes a surplus here. Now, when we talk about industrialization and development programs, again, I have borrowed funds. Development programs for which I have borrowed funds from countries, right? Or if some other country is going through industrialization, I have lent funds to them, right? All these are going to cause a disequilibrium in my BOP. And when we talk finally about demonstration effect, what is demonstration effect? What is demonstration effect? Class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. What is demonstration effect? Any idea what is demonstration effect? You must have learned in your microeconomics. Is like, see, when I'm going to buy, say, when I see my neighbor having something, I would want that. You see someone wearing a diamond ring, you would want that diamond ring for yourself, right? So you try by all ways and means to acquire that. Same way, when one country has something, like for example, US was initially tech savvy. We wanted to train our people in that technology, right? So when we did that, we also said we had to spend a lot on training these people also. So this was another this was a part of demonstration effect. समझ में आ रहा है? Everything you needed automated when you saw the other countries having it, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So we have to spend some money on it. So that is called as demonstration effect, for which we are actually going to borrow funds. Now, when you see buildings coming up, you must have borrowed a lot of money for importing capital equipments. So that is again part of your demonstration effect. Population growth. Say when more population, more demand, you need to satisfy the demands of the people. Again, population growth plays a vital role. समझ में आ रहा है? Class?
Yes, ma'am.
Inflation. Again, prices going up, you end up spending more. Correct? You end up spending more. So we say inflation is again going to create more of outflow. Supposing US may be costly ho gaya, you still want to import it, then it is again a fund movement outside. So it is creating an outflow. Insufficient demand for primary products, again When you talk about goods are produced, like for example, agro-based goods are produced, they are not being consumed, then what will happen again? There is an insufficient demand for them. The amount you produce is not getting sold. And when the country is having more debt, all that time it is engaged in paying out interest where there is an outflow. समझ में आ रहा है? There is, I think I spoke about this when we were talking about fiscal policy. So we spoke about it in borrowings. Debt trap, right? What is this debt trap? I borrow from A for a particular purpose, right? Country A. And to pay back A, I borrow from B. To pay back B, I borrow from C. Ultimately, I get into something called as debt trap. Are you following? Any doubts?
No,
Class?
ma'am.
So this is about causes of disequilibrium. If you are able to wait for another 10 minutes, I will restart the meeting because it is coming to an end here, right? Mine is not the paid Zoom account. So I'll restart the meeting, you join again, and then we will finish off monetary measures to correct inflation. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.